Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nedling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome everyone to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast, the Potapalooza version. And I am so excited to be on today with my guest. My name's Vicki Nedling. I'm coming to you from Roswell, Georgia, and my guest is Elaine Starling. And I'll have Elaine tell you a little bit about herself in a minute. But I always ask her a simple question to get things going, a nice icebreaker. Elaine, where are you located?
I am outside of Sacramento, California, right near where gold was discovered. And I'm the abundance ambassador, so I'm all about all the good stuff that you want in your life.
And, just a side note, I spent a lot of time in California with my previous jobs that I've had, and I spent time in old Sacramento. Which to me it was like going back in the wild, wild west. It was that part of the town, like going under the tunnel to the old town, is just so cool that I would recommend it to anyone to do. Sacramento is a great place to visit. All right. So you gave us the Abundance Ambassador as your business title, but I want you to have a twofold answer to the questions. One, talk about your business. And then also I'd like to know some background. How did you get started from this and what were you doing before?
I have a very interesting background. So I'm going to start with a background and then I'm going to tell you what I'm doing now, because I used to have my own company where I negotiated advertising deals for high-tech companies, primarily in the Bay Area. I was working with Fortune 500 companies and doing a lot of work with C-suite level people. I had several folks working with me, and it was crazy town. It was really busy all the time. And I couldn't see a way to get more time for myself and for my husband, to be able to have a more balanced life. And it was just getting harder to do what I was doing. Yeah. And it was interesting because on my birthday in early December, I told my husband, I feel badly that I want more, because I'm so fortunate that I have a business that's thriving. And by any stretch of the imagination, I'm really blessed in my life. But man, this is driving me nuts. I'm going to have to just stop thrashing, accept the status quo, and deal with it. Because if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, I could die happy. Yeah. 1 month later, on New Year's Day, 2005, I was blessed to have a stroke. Oh, wow. And I say blessed because during my stroke, I had a conversation with our higher power, and I got a complete download about how everything works, why we are alive, what we can do to live our best lives, and what's next after this life. I always tell people, don't worry about that part. It's actually a graduation. It's not an ending. It's kind of like the difference between kindergarten and first grade. I don't know about you, but for me, in kindergarten, there was nap time, right? No more nap time. When you're physical, you have a body. When you're not physical, you don't have a body. But there's a whole lot more going on, and you're really having fun. You're learning and growing, and there's a whole lot more. So don't worry about it. Focus on the here and now, because that's where you can get the most out of what you're doing. So it was incredible. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. It was one of the most magical experience of my life. And I loved it. But I got to tell you, towards the end of the conversation, I got really chapped. I'm like, why didn't you tell me this years ago? Yes. I've done so much better. All this angst and worry and fear and So I got a little ticked. And the message I got back was, great. You get to summarize it. You get to make it easy to understand. Go back and get busy. And I came out of the stroke with no damage at all.
Wow.
The divine wants to have a conversation. They'll have a conversation. And I ended up creating the Abundance Journey, which is a 6-week experience that takes you through everything I learned from the divine, along with a lot of science and very simple techniques you can use that get you in flow with life.
Oh my goodness. So my talk that I give is, it's just a conversation. And as you were doing that, I thought, she came out of the stroke and she could have done the talk about it's just a conversation with God.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness. So then as you got into your business, was it just right away, or was there some, little steps that you took along the way to build to where you are today?
Yes, it took me quite some time because frankly, I didn't woo before that experience, let alone woo woo. It was way beyond my understanding or comfort level. And when I got out of the stroke, I came home and my father-in-law was very ill. We ended up spending 10 years with both of my parents and my in-laws at the end of the shoes. And such a blessing that we had the ability and flexibility to be there for them.
Yeah.
But over that 10-year period, I closed my other business. I wrote a book, which is behind me, which is more of a business book. And then I started working on what is this thing that I explain to people. And I call it the abundance journey, because your life is a journey of abundance. That's truly what it's all about, is how you can open yourself up to receive more and more abundance in every moment, in every way, because it's there for you and it's a choice.
It is. And so many people take for granted that choice. I think that a lot of folks, because of the pandemic, and to me, I think that pandemic was a gift, that in my opinion, and, you can think of whoever it is, but for me, God said, y'all are just too rushed. You need to take a chill. And so I'm just going to slow things down. And it gave a lot of people, I think, a gift of reflection, and to be able to think about and be grateful, especially as you had people all around you that were checking out,
Yeah.
And it makes you just think, I am thankful that every breath that I have in the day, for every sunset that I get to see again, for every sunrise I get to see again, for me, for every time I get to see my grandsons running into my arms. Those are things that, that for me is that joyful abundance that I'm grateful.
So true. So true. And gratitude is the doorway to everything you want.
Yeah.
It starts with gratitude. And if you can't step through that doorway of gratitude, you're not ready to receive. So that's really that's the stepping point. That's the big differentiator. If you're too wrapped up in, it's not the way I want it to be, or that's so unfair, that's not right, how dare they, it's all about me. It's really interesting. One of the things that I was shown, how a new mom or dad has a little baby that's pre-verbal. Have you ever seen them go, oh, do you want a bottle? No. Do you want your blanket? No. Do you want your toy? No. Do you want? They're always kind of, what do you want, honey? What do you want, honey? Well, when you see a fancy car, that's the divine saying, what do you want, honey? You see a beautiful house, that's the divine saying, how about this, honey? The divine is trying to get you to pick something that will really inspire you to show up in a bigger way. And it's not really about the thing or the experience or the person. It's about getting into action, being inspired enough to start taking action towards what you want to create, whether it's a business or a relationship or an experience, whatever it is you want, you can have it. You have to get in action towards it.
Yeah. It's the way, as you'll see in a few, but the way I end my podcast is that life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. And I truly believe that so many people are just going through the motions and don't take time to realize the gifts that are given along the way.
Yeah.
And to be grateful. And so, do you have a gratitude journal or something like that?
Yes, I do practice gratitude every day. And most importantly, I try to show up from a space of gratitude in
Yeah.
every conversation, in everything that I'm doing. And I catch myself when I'm not. And one of the things that I've started recently within the last month, I am no longer apologizing all the time. I think
Yeah.
it's something that women tend to suffer from more than men, but it's a constant, oh, I'm sorry I'm running a little late. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't get this. Oh, I'm sorry. Blah, blah. No. The problem with saying I'm sorry is it's making me a big deal, and it's asking you to pay more attention to me and reassure me that it's okay. That makes it all about me. And that's a very selfish conversation. That's not a generous giving conversation. And if I want to be in gratitude, I, instead of saying I'm sorry, I say I'm so grateful that you were able to wait for me. I'm so grateful that we get to spend this time together. I'm so grateful. And that honors you.
Yeah.
Cases the brilliance that you bring to this relationship, to this connection.
That's
And
so
that's
great.
much better than trying to make it all about me.
Well, and also it puts a thought into that comment, because I think a lot of people, that I'm sorry comes just as an automatic, there's no thought, there's no sincerity. It's just, this is what I know I'm supposed to say, and I'm going to go on. And after that, you might, not even remember what it was that you did. But if you have to think about why you're grateful, you have to put those words into light, I think is a better thing. So one of the things that I ask is for you to share 3 golden nuggets that, if the audience had nothing else to take away today, what would you want those 3 things to be?
Oh, man. Okay.
I know, just 3, and
just
you can,
3.
You can you'll have to see, but this is my way for them to have to get connected with you to see what the other 900 and so.
Okay. So I want to help you activate abundance all the time in everything that you do, in every conversation that you have with yourself, in every conversation that you have with someone else. There are actually 5 steps, but we already covered step 1, which is gratitude, showing up with gratitude. Step 2,
go ahead and give me the all 5 then.
Okay. I'm going to cheat just a little bit. I'm giving you bonus
That's
points.
Right.
Okay. So it starts with gratitude. So it might be, Vicki, I'm so grateful that we have this time to have this conversation, because you know that conversation changes lives. And just getting people to be aware of the opportunities that exist for them is a magical thing. And what a blessing that we get an opportunity to do this. I'm so grateful that you created this space for us to share. That's step 1, is gratitude. Step 2 is to acknowledge something that maybe you hadn't heard before, or maybe you just are seeing it in a different way. For example, this idea of over apologizing. Yeah, there's a time when you really screwed up and you should apologize because you're in the wrong and you hurt somebody's feelings and it was very inappropriate. And there's other things that are just day-to-day casual things. And if it's just a part of your vernacular, realizing that that's something you say that is, frankly, being selfish and greedy. It's making it all about you. Wow. Maybe you hadn't thought about it quite that way before. So step 2 is to acknowledge something that you heard that you hadn't really thought about in that way before. Or maybe you haven't been doing on a consistent basis, like you learned it, but then you never did it. So instead of saying, oh yeah, I know that, you don't know it until you do it. So acknowledge something. Step 3, appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Because when you shift saying I'm sorry to I'm grateful, all of a sudden you're making it about the other person. You are acknowledging what there is in the moment for you to appreciate and be grateful for. That you're stepping through the door. That opens everything that you want in your life. So step 3 is to appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Step 4 is to activate it. There are 2 different ways that you activate. If you can put it on a calendar. You actually schedule an appointment with yourself to know to do that. With sorry, that's not something you can do because it's just got a knee-jerk thing. I'm retraining myself not to say sorry. And every time I hear the word sorry, I immediately swap it out for gratitude. I stop myself and I go, wait a minute, I'm grateful. Let me tell you what I'm grateful for. And people really appreciate that. And then I tell them, this is a bad habit of mine, and I would appreciate it if you would point out to me anytime that I forget to adopt my new habit, which is gratitude.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate your support with that. Well, who doesn't want to support me with that? Right? And it becomes really easy because it's something for me. It's a trigger for me. Just hearing the word sorry is my trigger. So you can either put it on a calendar or you may trigger for yourself. And that's how you activate it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Step 5 is celebrate your progress. It is not about perfection. It's about progress. And now you see how a very simple thing can be shifted and it changes everything. Instead of making it all about you and closing the conversation down, you're inviting someone else in and you're celebrating them. And then you are co-creating something together that is so much more powerful than anything you could create on your own.
Right.
How beautiful is that?
That's awesome.
That's activate abundance.
And I think that celebration is so important because there, as we mentioned earlier, so many people are quick to just bring themselves down, to just not have self-confidence, not have any self-esteem. And having you celebrate them makes their mindsets start to shift in the right direction.
Yeah.
So we touched on this a little bit, but what mistakes do people make whenever it comes to this?
Well, let me share what for me was a real biggie. This is related to my stroke. So during the stroke, it was amazing. The conversation with the divine, I have never experienced such intense, amazing love in my life. I mean, every single cell and atom in your body is saturated with love. It was like being in a Niagara Falls of love. I've never experienced anything so powerful. And I came out of that stroke with no damage at all. And I was like, wow, I want 2 of those and I want it on a spigot so I can turn it on high whenever I want. How do I get more of that? I hadn't experienced that before.
Wow.
And so I started doing all this research and everything said, well, you just have to allow. You have to allow that connection with the divine, with your higher power. You have to be open and allow. So I did my best to be open and allow, open and allow. And I was allowing my little heart out. And every once in a while, I'd get another download. And it always felt really good. But it was no Niagara Falls, let me tell you. And so finally, I was getting a little frustrated with it. I was sitting for guidance. And so I asked the question, why isn't this allowing thing working for me? And I immediately got the message back. What is the image that comes to mind when you think of the word allowing? And I instantly saw myself behind a door with a chain on the door, and I'm peeking out the door at the divine. And I'm terrified because I don't know how to control the divine. And I'm just going to slam that door shut because that gives me more control. Well, I realized from that experience that the word allow for me, not for everybody, but for me, it's a mind-based word. And the mind wants order, structure, guarantees, control. And guess what? I don't need to control the divine. The divine knows way more than I do about everything that I want to achieve and accomplish and has much bigger plans for me than anything I could come up with. So I thought, man, that is definitely not the kind of relationship I'm after. What word would really epitomize the relationship I want to have with the divine? And I thought about it for a long time. And I finally realized welcoming. Now I welcome the divine. I welcome abundance. I welcome conversations. I welcome new people. I welcome opportunities because you don't know how it's going to turn out. And it really doesn't matter because everything is guided for you. So the words you use really make a difference in the experience you have. So really pay attention to the words that you're using and whether they are empowering you or stifling you.
Wow, that's so good. So instead of allow, use welcome. I mean, just right there, just as you
You
say
feel
it,
it. You feel it
just feel it.
instantly. You feel it. Allowing is closed-fisted.
Yes.
And welcoming is open-hearted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was thinking of joy, and it's like, do I allow joy? No, I welcome joy. So good.
It makes all the difference in the world when you start welcoming.
Huge.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the next path on your journey?
Oh man. I have a TEDx talk called Abundance is a Choice. And right now I've got about 285,000 views. My goal is 10 million, because a lot of people don't know that abundance is actually a choice. And if you come at life by default, unfortunately, our default wiring is for self-protection and more of a poverty mindset. And we end up with a poverty outcome. So I talk in my TEDx talk, Abundance is a Choice, about intention, how you want to feel and how you want to show up, so you make others feel. That's your intention. And then your attention is what you put your focus on. So if you would watch my TEDx talk, Abundance is a Choice, it will shift how you approach what you do, because you have total control over your intention and your attention. And sometimes you might slip, you might use the word sorry, and then you go, whoops, nope. I'm in gratitude land now. Sorry. Whoops. I'm in gratitude. I don't do that anymore. Yeah. You have to own it, right? And laugh about it. That's the other thing. I experience the divine as effervescent joy, just over the top, happy, silly, outrageous, ridiculous, funny. And they are after me all the time to lighten up, honey, and play with us. Because when you lighten up and you're having a great time, I call it, yeah, baby energy. It's where you step in and you're just having a blast. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where the conversation's going to go, and you don't care. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. It's going to open things for you. And when you are willing to step in with that deep desire to serve and be present and engage, it's magic.
Yeah,
it's
for
magic.
Sure. For sure. And it's so contagious and captivating. And our whole thing is that we want to spread that abundance and that gratitude to others. And so whenever you attract others to you and you have fun, and also having fun means that you're okay for not being perfect, because you don't have to be perfect to have fun. So that's just tons of great content here. I hope everybody has taken wonderful notes. If not, please replay this. But I enjoyed so much having you, Elaine, as my guest today. And I hope that we can do this again on my, not Podapalooza, but my regular podcast, so that we can see where you are on that next journey. And since you have a TED Talk, I think there's a book in you, dear.
Yes, there is. That's on my list of things to do.
Yes.
I was told that I will be writing a book.
Yes,
and
you will.
So that's one of the things that I am working on this year. Okay. And I'm also very interested on getting on as many stages as I possibly can, because people don't know that abundance is a choice. And I'm trying to let them know and spread the word.
Well, and also, you just need to sprinkle all of your joy and happiness to get people in the right mindset, so they start to being grateful for every moment that they live. So as always, I remind everybody that life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Nethling signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.